Hey everyone, Sean Smith here with Dedicated Commercial Recovery in Roseville, Minnesota. I'm the founder and CEO. I'm here with Jennie Villano, ISO rep with Nuco Capital Group. Jennie, thanks for joining me on the show. How are you doing?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm doing well.
Well, I'm going to start out with the disclaimer as that just to let the world know what a graceful person you are. This is actually round two. We switched up our camera and some of our equipment on our end, and that led to the first version of this being lost to the archives of the internet and never recorded. So, Jennie, I just want to personally say thank you for being graceful in that situation and doing a round two on this. So thank you for that, first of all.
Absolutely. No problem at all. And thank you so much for feeling bad and donating a very nice amount to one of my favorite charities. So thank you.
That was the least I could do. It was cool to have the director reach out to me right away. She was really excited. And then she's like, I'm going to talk to Jennie right away, so that was cool. And that was something my wife was actually really excited about. My wife's very passionate about animals. So she was super pumped that we did that too.
They rescue so many dogs from Puerto Rico and off the streets there. They bring them back here to Long Island. They get them vet care and then they get them home. So it's a really great cause.
That's cool. Well, thank you again. Well, let's jump into it, Jennie. At least from my perspective, and basically anyone I talk to when I bring up social media in the space of commercial funding these days, your name comes up as kind of honestly the leader as far as getting your brand out there. You're with Nuco Capital Group, but you're really seen as a leader, asked to speak consistently at debanked events, doing interviews with leaders as well. And so I'm just wondering if there's anyone in my space. We serve a couple different asset classes with equipment finance and commercial banking, but obviously very heavily in the MCA and alternative funding space. But could you just give people your background and kind of how you ended up at Nuco?
So I needed a job and I put a post on Facebook, and a friend of mine from high school was a partner at a funding company, and he reached out and he said, you would be great for this industry. Why don't you come in and we'll discuss it and I'll hire you. And he did. And I stayed there for a couple of months. And then I was actually quickly recruited to Pearl, where I really learned more of the business and got myself, out there meeting ISOs. They definitely pushed me to do all that. So it was a great home for me at the time. And then, from there, I've been working pretty much with the same team all these years, and we're at Nuco now. It's a company that we started last year in May, and we've been very successful so far. But I think when you work well as a team, you'll usually be successful in it.
Yeah, if the top works well together, it blends through everything it does, from the other folks on the team to the customer base. It all kind of emanates from that internal core, right? And so that's not surprising that groups work together, that's the case. I'm interested to know for you, like, when did you make the decision to start building your social media brand, and how have you done that? So much of the fact that, on our first go around this, you were talking about, one of the posts you had to go really viral, but just the views that you do every week, like what kind of led you to that? When did you start it? How has it grown? Just some background on that.
So I slowly started my LinkedIn in 2016. When I first started in the industry, the friend that I had worked for told me, I'm going to set up your LinkedIn account and this is going to be like gold for you. Definitely utilize it. Social media is something that, my private social media, I was very good at doing because I was featured in a famous painting. And so all of a sudden I had thousands and thousands of followers on my Instagram. So I had already seen what social media can do for you. And then switching gears into this industry, which is, finance, I learned about LinkedIn. And so I just slowly started posting, reaching out to people, and then it evolved over the years as my following grew. For me, a tactic in business just overall is really to talk maybe 5% about what I have to offer and myself, and the other 95% about who I'm talking to, my client, their needs, how we can relate, because it's really about building relationships. That's who we work with. And so that's how my LinkedIn evolved into me going more of the route of, being inspirational, just on a broad scale. And, which really pulled in a lot of people from our industry. Back in 2000 and the end of 2017, I had hooked up with Sean Murray, and he had done an article on my LinkedIn, and that I was always posting and getting my name out there. However, I really believe that he's the one that helped skyrocket my name to be so familiar, because once he did that article, everyone reads what he has, because he's really the media outlet for MCA. So I credit a lot to him. So that alone, is getting my name out there. And it really has just evolved from there. And I really do credit a lot to Sean Murray as far as how I've been able to reach everyone in the industry.
I'm in the same boat as you. I owe a lot of gratitude to Sean and to Debanked, and just dedicated coming into that space, and him featuring me as a speaker, the advertising that we do there, and Sean is just I think he's a guy who's excited for people to succeed in the industry, and I think he likes to try to uplift people and give them the opportunity to see what they're doing. And I share a lot of the same sentiment as you as far as Sean's help and in that trend. So now these days, like, what does that look like on your LinkedIn? Like, what does that look like for, like, you had a recent post, I think, that did what, 500,000 views, something like that? Wasn't it some crazy?
It's about 630,000 views that it got. I don't usually receive that many. I would say on average, I receive anywhere between 30,000 and 80,000 views on a post, which is great. It's a great reach. It really depends on me and my consistency. I'm always so busy. So, sometimes I just forget, or there's just no time, or I'm not feeling, inspired. Like, what am I even going to say to anyone? But as long as I'm consistent, it grows quick. So it's really about consistency when it comes to posting, and getting the traction. I do find that the guys in our industry, they're not ones to hit the like button on, when I'm posting on there, but they're viewing it. I wouldn't know they were viewing it until I go to all the broker fairs, and so many, just about everyone there approaches me, tells me how they watch, their offices watch. Otherwise, I wouldn't really know, but it does, so for anyone that is posting on LinkedIn, they should know, don't worry if you don't see likes from people in our industry. They're more private, but they're watching and they see it, and you are definitely getting to them.
I get the same thing. So you started in 2016. How many connections now roughly do you have on LinkedIn?
I don't know, it's somewhere at 27, 30,000. I mean, I definitely have just about everyone in our industry. And then, I have a lot of people around the world.
And that, and that kind of ties into my next question for you, is just, how is that success of that, online branding? Obviously, you worked very hard over the last 5 years to build that. And I know that grind, because I've done the same thing. And I think my total reach is somewhere across LinkedIn and other brands around 12,000. Not quite the pretty face to go along with all the knowledge and background. I got the knowledge and background, but I think one of the things I've learned as I've gotten to know you is I'm so impressed with your understanding of how important that relationship is. And I know we've talked about this in the past, is that a lot of times people think, oh, it's just social media, or, oh, it's, it's a pretty girl who knows what she's doing. But I know, your stuff. I have a deep level of respect for that. And I'm wondering if you could explain that, because, it seems like every time, I get a little bit like, oh, you got lucky, or, oh, this or that or whatever. It's like, no, that took a lot of hard work and intentionality. I've worked super diligently for the last 6 years on our social media to get it to a third of your even your size, right? How has that affected your your work, your success, and what would so part A to that question is, how has it affected you? How did that play out in business? And then what would you recommend to other people that they focus on, and how they utilize that, how they build it, that type of thing?
So it's, for me, it has done tremendous growth for my business. And I have many ISOs signed up. People reach out to me. A lot of people tell me, they'll get on a call with me and they'll say, I'm reaching out to you because I've never met you. However, I feel like I know you so well because I've been following your LinkedIn. So it's really important, because how else will people know to call you? How else will people know your name? And how else will people know that they want to work with you? So that's really important. I think that people should definitely utilize their LinkedIn. It has helped me. I wouldn't be where I am today without it. So, I highly recommend, and just stay consistent with your LinkedIn. Really use it. Get on there. Stay humble. I'm never posting, I'm the best in the industry, or I do really well, or, I had a killer month. I just don't do that. Not that you can't or you shouldn't, but for me, I don't do that. I like to stay very humble, and I like to really just let people know who they're going to be working with. But it's also an angle for me because I'm not a broker. I work for a funder. So, it's really just about connecting with ISOs to have them want to work with me, where they know that they can trust me, and that I can get their deals done, that their deals are safe with us. I will tell you that the last year with Newco has been by far, hands down, my strongest yet in this industry, which has, I think, most to do with the company that I work for, and the fact that our ISOs do feel safe. They know that their deals aren't going anywhere. They stay with us. And I think that that's really just important. You have to have good social media, but you have to have good business relationship skills. And then you have to have a company that's quality, that you work for, that's trustworthy, that gives great offers, that's easy to work with, they're fast. And so luckily, that's all combined been a really great, success for me personally.
Yeah, I think people always want to think things are a light switch, or I just got to do this one thing. They don't look at the situation comprehensively to realize that there is an equation that leads to success here. You work hard, you build relationships. I think one of the things we've talked about a lot is just how much you care about building relationships, and that while social media allows people to authentically experience. I love the fact that you say, like, look, I almost on every video I say something wrong, or I'm not trying to try to act perfect or something like that. I'm just trying to be myself, so that they meet the same Jennie in person as they do on the camera, as they do at the conference, and I care deeply about that as well. My kids, like it or not, they got to deal with the same dad when I get home. Same guy at the conference. My father-in-law yesterday told me, he goes, "Man, you talk a lot." I'm like, I know, I gotta become a better listener. But I'm just try to be yourself. But social media allows you for people to authentically, if you're authentic, experience you. And then I think what you're so great at is you recognize the rest of that equation. It's not just about social media. It's that you care about the relationship, you care about the company you're working with, and that it's a safe place for your clients and your relationships to come into. There's a whole equation that you explain. So I think it's just a really good nugget for anyone that's listening to this interview to look at it that way. It's not just about social media or just about getting someone a deal or getting a deal funded. It's a whole equation to take care of your clients. So that was just great information. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I look at you, and I feel that this vision is shared as really a leader in our industry. What do you see for the future, next couple of years and ongoing? Like, what do you think as far as the future of the industry? Where do you see it going?
I only see it growing, especially, with the pandemic that just happened. So many businesses took a really heavy hit, and, it's like everything stopped, but not because the economy slowed down, but because the government shut down everything overnight. And so it's not like the business isn't there. If anything, the need is even greater. So now that finally everything is opening up, this vaccine is out, businesses want to, they're busy. Their orders are double, triple what they would have been if there was no pandemic. So where do they go for quick money? Where can they get money overnight? Who's going to give them money when they don't really have too much to show in the last year because of all the shutdowns and all the restrictions? So for me personally, what our company has seen is a very quick growth as these last 12 months, with every month, it just gets better and better as things start to evolve and open up. So in the next 2 years, I mean, for anyone that's stayed in the industry, they should see great success. And it may be slow, it may be quick, everyone is different, who's to say? But I definitely don't see it going anywhere. I only see it getting stronger, growing more with every passing month, day, year.
I agree. I think between the use of technology, I love the fact that it's one of the most unbiased ways of getting money to business, because it's literally just looking at the X's and the O's. It's looking at the financials and saying you have X coming in and X going out, you have the ability to do this. And then with the fact that because it is really an alternative funding space, they are willing to look at your situation. And, I think there's a lot of truly championing small business and giving them a chance. And I also agree that everywhere I look, MCA, equipment finance, you name it, there is large amount, people are taking a large line, securing larger ability to lend. Like everybody is gearing up because there's this kind of spend off coming where businesses want to grow. They want to come out of this strong. They want to seek opportunity. Maybe they lost some competitors, so there's gaps in the market, whatever it is. And I think that cash is going to be king to grow your business, and in our space that, we work differently in the space is going to be very much needed. So thank you for that. I agree with you wholeheartedly. So as a final question, switch to some fun here, 2-part question. I'd love for you to tell me just kind of one fun thing about yourself, as well as one thing that people might not know about you. And I think you kind of nodded to one of those earlier, and if you want to share that one again earlier in the program.
So the one fun thing, I'm in finance, so everyone knows me as in finance. However, I love motorcycles, and I'm featured in a really famous painting by David Yule. It's famous all over the world. He made millions and millions off of it. It's his most famous piece that he has. It hangs in art galleries everywhere. There's about 8 men that have me tattooed, my portrait on them. That's pretty cool. Women contact me on Instagram all over the world to ask about my outfit that I wore, because they like to dress up as me for Halloween, which is pretty surreal. I always say I'm immortal, so now I can die. But after I did the painting, because I met so many bikers, I didn't ride. So I got my license. I got a Harley, a 1200 custom Sportster. And that's just like a little fun thing about me. I'm really very creative. That's really where my innate talent is, which also converts into connecting with people and building relationships. So I wouldn't say I'm a finance guru or, leader, but I'm very, very good at anything creative or anything connecting with people.
I did, after we did this on round 1, go and look at the photograph. It is super cool. I totally get it. Like, pretty awesome. And I feel, I don't feel weird about it, but I love art. Like, it's something where I make it a point, even in my office, you can't see it off camera, but I have a rendition of a Banksy, who's a famous artist. It's one of his stencil arts. That's probably one of his most famous ones that I've always loved. It's on an acrylic skateboard and it hangs in my office. So I always have a kind of an affinity for art. So
yeah, I love art.
Super cool. Well, again, Jennie, thank you for joining us. I'll have you end with this. just give people how they can contact you at NewCo, and what, again, just kind of go through just a little background on that and just, how they can reach out to you.
If anyone wants to reach out to me, wants to work with me to get their deals funded, they can either contact me on LinkedIn, send me a private message, Jennie Villano, or you can send me an email, Jennie@newcocapitalgroup.com. And it's Jennie with an IE. But yeah, any way that you'd like to contact me, by all means, I would be happy to get on a call with you, go over with you our paper and see what we can get done for you.
Awesome. Well, Jennie, thank you again for being on the show and just for taking the time both times. Again, can't express my gratitude enough on that. It was definitely one of those mistakes that was far from optimal, but round 2 has gone great. So thank you for that. And
absolutely, no problem. I appreciate you're asking me. So thank you. It's very humbling. Thank you.
Well, and I think we can both say this. Thank you to all the people that tune into us on social media, with the Giving Collector on Mondays, and Jennie's posting videos, a lot of inspiration. And just, I think we both try to center around adding value to what we do on social media. So, thank you for that. I'm definitely one of the folks that tunes in. I feel like the serial liker on your deal. So I do like everything.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, but thank you to everyone for tuning in. Jennie, thank you for being on the show. And as always, God bless.
Bye.